From ABC News, The Weekend Report. Here's Brit Hume.
Good evening. He's doing beautifully. That's the word from President Reagan's doctors tonight following surgery in which a section of Mr. Reagan's intestine was removed. The president turned over his authority to Vice President Bush during the operation, but reclaimed it tonight after the anesthetic had largely worn off. We have reports on both the operation and this first-of-its-kind transfer of power. First, George Strait at the hospital.
The president is reported resting comfortably in the surgical recovery room just down the hall from the presidential suite at Bethesda Naval Hospital. The First Lady has left and is spending the night in the White House. Doctors report Mr. Reagan came through the 2-hour and 53-minute operation remarkably well.
This evening, Dr. Aller has advised us that the president is generally without pain. He is conversant and oriented. His vital signs are good. The president told his staff, "I feel fit as a fiddle."
Doctors took out a 2.5-inch long tumor from the right side of Mr. Reagan's large intestine or colon, and as a precaution also removed 2 feet of the colon. The worry is cancer. Right after the operation, the surgeon said he didn't see any malignancy.
You don't really know if there was cancer there or not, do you?
We do not know whether there was cancer in the polyp.
And they won't know for sure until microscopic studies are completed Monday. Doctors did say that tumors of the type and size of the president's are malignant 50% of the time. But even if it is cancerous, doctors say they expect the president to have a full recovery.
If there is cancer in the specimen, then there is a reasonable likelihood that this operation could in and of itself be curative. My own opinion as to the follow-up that would be required should cancer be found in the specimen is one of careful follow-up examinations at regular intervals.
Doctors said the president's tumor has been growing for years. It could have been discovered long ago if doctors had examined his entire colon. But they didn't, even though Mr. Reagan had symptoms and has a history of colon cancer in his family. The president has been awake since surgery. He's talked with Mrs. Reagan, and doctors say that he should be able to do light paperwork by tomorrow. George Strait, ABC News at the Bethesda Naval Hospital, Bethesda, Maryland.
This is Steve Shepard. The 25th Amendment, ratified in 1967, allows the president to temporarily turn over his powers to the vice president if the president judges that he cannot effectively carry out his duties. President Reagan made that judgment Saturday morning. In a letter addressed to the Speaker of the House and the President pro tem of the Senate, Mr. Reagan became the first U.S. president in history to temporarily relinquish the reins of government.
It took effect when the letter was delivered to the appropriate congressional authorities, formally took effect. The president authorized it to begin when he went under the anesthetic.
That meant that at 11:28 this morning, Vice President Bush became acting commander-in-chief and chief executive officer of the United States. Bush returned to Washington from his summer home in Kennebunkport, Maine, prepared to carry out presidential decisions if necessary. But the president was clearly not altogether happy about his actions. In his letter to Congress, Mr. Reagan made it clear that he didn't think the 25th Amendment was meant to be used when a president was only briefly disabled. White House aides refused even to concede that the 25th Amendment had been invoked. In the end, it may not have meant much. Tonight at 7:22, an awake and alert Ronald Reagan sent another letter to Congress, this time reclaiming his full powers as president. George Bush served as acting president of the United States for some 7 hours and 54 minutes. Aides say during that time he made no major decisions. Steve Shepard, ABC News at the Bethesda Naval Hospital.
Shortly after President Reagan went into surgery today, he was heard on radio stations coast to coast blasting the Soviet Union for cheating on disarmament treaties and defending his Star Wars missile defense plan. It was his weekly radio address on schedule, thanks to a tape Mr. Reagan made of it on Thursday, just in case.
Glade Aerosols do more than eliminate odors. Glade Aerosols make your home feel instantly fresher.
Things just got a little fresher. Things just got a little nicer. Someone sprayed some Glade. What a difference Glade made. Instantly fresher. Instantly better.
Everybody knows it.
Someone sprayed some Glade. What a difference Glade made.
Fresh.
What a difference Glade made.
Fresh.
Now Renault has a standard feature no other car even comes close to. Huh?
10,000 miles of gas. It's like owning your own gas pump. Get the money to pay for gas with any new Renault, like Alliance sedan and sporty Encore, both built in America, with European technology and 550 plus, America's best small car protection, and 10,000 miles of gas.
That'll take me to work all year.
See your dealer today. Renault, the one to watch.
My maiden voice.
You did great. Let's get that coffee.
Only half a cup.
Well, you love a hearty coffee.
With the caffeine.
Look,
Brim, decaffeinated coffee.
dark roast from Brim. This Brim's got a deep flavor that really speaks to you.
Speaks to me. But taste this, Rich. Fill it to the rim.
Fill your cup to the rim with a hearty taste of dark roast from Brim, also in regular roast.
Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley, what President Reagan's health problems mean to us. And at the dinner hour, watch ABC's World News Sunday with Sam Donaldson.
The world's rock stars are in the record business, but those who took part in today's Live Aid concerts to help the starving in Africa were pursuing records of a different kind. And they succeeded in staging the biggest concerts ever before the largest television audience in history. The record they want most, though, is to raise $50 million for famine relief. We have two reports. First, Mike Lee in London.
This global jukebox to raise long-term aid for Africa began today in London, where the original Live Aid idea came from a little-known singer named Bob Geldof. Because of his fundraising efforts, Geldof is now the most celebrated rock star in the world. He was even given a special seat next to Prince Charles in the royal box today. 72,000 fans packed into Wembley Stadium, each having paid $35 to help feed the hungry and to lap up all of that superstar rock and pop. The London concert and later the Philadelphia performance were seen live by nearly 2 billion people in more than 140 countries. They watched in Japan and in Kenya. Even Moscow contributed live music. In London, the sun was so hot that the crowd had to be hosed down from time to time. The stars and the megastars were there. Paul McCartney was the last act in London. Some of the stars tonight, including Elton John, were calling for a Live Aid concert to be held every year. Mike Lee, ABC News, London.
This is Joe Spencer. It was, as promoters promised, a blockbuster featuring a who's who of rock and roll musicians, including a reunion of The Who, banding together to fight hunger. At Philadelphia's JFK Stadium, 90,000 fans withstood 90-degree heat. From McCartney to Madonna, the message of their music was clear. Making things better for starving Africans was what this was all about. And with the broadcast bounced off 16 satellites to more than 150 countries, it's certain the Live Aid concert raised not only money, but awareness as well.
And these people have done a fantastic job of really turning this into a global village and getting a very serious message out.
Taking atom bomb to get us here. We did it because we wanted to save our fellow man. And it's a great thing. Every form of music has got together for this great event.
It's always special when people band together to do something for somebody else.
Getting together in tonight's broadcast were some firsts. Mick Jagger with Tina Turner. Hall & Oates with two of the original Temptations. And Phil Collins playing drums for Eric Clapton. And 14 hours after it began, there was a star-studded finale.
We are the world. We are the children.
At the same time the musical marathon was filling the world's airwaves, telephone pledges were jamming Live Aid switchboards in 35 countries. And even with the final total days away, organizers are confident they may raise nearly $50 million. And that's music to their ears. Joe Spencer, ABC News, Philadelphia.
There are reports tonight that aid already sent to Africa is not getting to its destination. London's Daily Express is reporting that thousands of tons of food are rotting on the dock in nearby Djibouti, awaiting shipment to Ethiopia. The Ethiopian government claims that problems with transportation are holding up the distribution of the food. In Niagara Falls, New York, a Navy pilot was killed today after two Skyhawk jets grazed each other during an air show. The incident occurred while members of the Navy's Blue Angel precision team performed a 6-jet stunt that was to be the highlight of the show. The pilot died on impact. No one on the ground was injured. The pilot of the other jet was treated for injuries at an Air Force hospital.
A little confusion can be fun, but not when you're looking at long-distance phone companies. Because all companies aren't the same, you have to watch out for the unexpected. No operator service and no service from many small towns. Different levels of transmission quality and no immediate credit for wrong numbers. Only one company comes with no surprises. AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
AT&T, the right choice.
Your days go by fast. Your work never seems to end.
That's why new Whirlpool TouchMaster microwave ovens offer quick defrost, cycle reprogramming without starting over, and a keep warm setting without a temperature probe. Whirlpool TouchMaster microwave ovens.
We're making your world a little easier. Whirlpool makes it easier for you.
Times change, but golf is still a great game. The USGA has kept it that way, and they'll continue with our help. Join me as a USGA Associate. You'll get a bag tag, the rules of golf, a year of golf journal, and a tax deduction, all for $20. Let's keep golf great as USGA Associates.
I'm David Hartman. Wednesday, Mario Cuomo talks tax reform on Good Morning America.
Recapping our top story, President Reagan is said to be doing beautifully after surgery to remove a growth on his colon. Doctors found no sign of cancer, but final test results won't be known until Monday. We close tonight with an unofficial, but certainly not uninformed, prognosis on Mr. Reagan. It comes from his brother Neil, who had the same kind of surgery earlier this month.
Well, I talked to Ronald after I got out of the hospital and was home here. And he said, "Well, you're home already?" And yes. And so I rather suspect that in the back of his mind, he's thinking more of getting him out of the hospital at least as early as I did. If not earlier, just in order to beat me.
That's the late news this Saturday night. I'm Brit Hume. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
From Washington, this has been the Weekend Report. Tomorrow, watch World News Sunday with Sam Donaldson for a complete look at the day's top stories. The Weekend Report is a presentation of ABC News.
The Bear to Carter connection won it in '83. They're back again. The explosive Stars took it all in '84. It's their third trip to the final game. Baltimore collides with Oakland. The USFL Championship, live at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on ABC Sports.